What do you think is the most unique aspect of this show and the romance, and what do you think the audiences are going to take from that?
It's quite a modern relationship within the context of obviously an old-fashioned time. I feel really nervous getting interviewed by you.
Well, it's because we actually know the answers. I'm like, I know if you're not answering this question. I was there.
Is this okay? Simon is, he goes against the grain. He's not in that world. And Daphne, I think, really likes that about him.
Bad boy.
She can be herself around him.
Chaser.
He's a bad boy. He's a bit of a rebel. And I think he sort of makes her rebel a bit as well and come out of her comfort zone.
I think in the most scandalous ways possible, he invites her into her rebellion in the most explicit ways possible. If I remember quite how hard I was cringing through that first table read. Do you remember how the atmosphere in the room just kind of silenced when we hit that particular monologue after the bridge?
That was fun to do at a read through. Yeah.
What do you think makes Daphne stand out? Like, because she is this kind of slightly aside person with these modern sensibilities, apart from a lot of the women in this series. What do you think makes Daphne different like that?
I think it's interesting, Regé, because she does conform to a lot of the social restrictions that are placed on her, but she also has like really cool, fun brothers that she's grown up around boys, so she's also got that other sense to her that's really playful and like one of the bros. Why do you think Simon so rebels against the relationship at the start and doesn't want to engage in that, romantic side with Daphne? He's kind of shut off from it. And what do you think changes his mind in the end?
I think Simon's very defensive of his own emotional life because he's never been allowed to have one. When he comes to dinner with you guys for the first time at the Bridgerton house, he sees literally everything that he's ever missed in his entire life. He sees a rambunctious, fun, loving family which doesn't have restrictions on how they're meant to behave with each other. And I don't think he's ever known that could be possible. He sees then that you come from that, but also you are still so significant and so full of status and power and intelligence. And I think it confuses him that good things could come from allowing yourself to be vulnerable to other people. And so I think it takes him a while to come round to that, to knowing that he can trust you, essentially, because he's never had anyone in his kind of familiar circle that he can trust. Even Lady Danbury's a pretty tough love kind of maternal figure. So I think you slowly melt him down with kindness. Who do you think falls for the other first between Simon and Daphne? Who do you think is smitten before the other?
I think Simon is, but this is my argument. I think Simon's more aware of what that feeling is than Daphne is. I think Daphne is like trying probably to fight it a little bit harder because she's not seeing it very clearly because her mind's so on, her goal, which is to find a love match. And for some reason, it's just not in her peripheral because all she's thinking about is the thing ahead as opposed to what's right next to her. So I think maybe Simon, but only just before. I think it's probably they're on par with each other. I don't know. What do you think? I'm intrigued.
I was gonna instinctively say something snarky about just Daphne, definitely, because obviously. But actually, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think interestingly that both of them don't recognize what's happening through an excess of pride and denial.
And they're both fighting it. They're both in denial about it.
They're both sitting there going, "No, this couldn't possibly happen to me. Absolutely not. I am in control of this situation and my emotions." And then they both find out quite how hilariously wrong they are. So given that once we kind of hit that point, once they get over the hill, everything gets kind of very modern with us too. Like, they call each other by their first names. We have that whole scene where it's like, I think you should call me Simon. Why do you think we get to that point? What makes us step into that kind of very modern, equal footing power dynamic?
I think it's a lot to do with the fact that they're friends before they fall for each other.
Good answer.
Yeah, I think they have like that banter and that friendship and that kinship with each other, and they they like each other before they are attracted to each other, which I think is a really powerful thing in a relationship. Like actually liking the person that you're with is super important.
Yeah, well, particularly in this kind of marriage mart environment where essentially you're going out and doing a very glamorous business transaction. You know, you're kind of buying a wife or acquiring a husband and merging families and power and wealth. And it's kind of like, wait, you're meant to like this person? A love match, you say? I don't think either of us is expecting that before it happens.
Reggae, Lady Whistledown.
Yes, Phoebe.
When did you think you knew who it was? / when did you find out?
I'm going to be a little mischievous with this because I knew who it was in the book from the beginning because I read the book. And then you're like, oh, we're going to go the same way as the book or not? And then at the end of the series, it looks like we apparently are going to go the same way as the book. Or are we? You know? Because an on-camera, unstated reveal does not court-proof, like a legal level of proof make. So I'm still not sold. I don't think we definitely have found out who it is myself. If there is a season 2, who do you think the Lady Whistledown is going to go for next? Where do you think that they're gonna train their sights? In what direction would you take this particular story? What do you reckon?
Well, if we're going by the books, then obviously it's Anthony's turn to get married, and it's his love story. But again, it could go anywhere because, you know, it's Shondaland, so who knows what's going to happen. We've mushed a couple
of books together already, haven't we?
Yeah, that is true. If the books aren't in play, where would you like to see Daphne and Simon going now? You know, they've found the love match. They're, you know, a happy family.
The books aren't in play, and I feel like this goes against the tradition of romance novels because I like to blow things up. Like if someone's happy, that's no fun to watch. No one wants to watch happy people. So I'd love a great big menage a trois grenade into that situation and test the strength of their love, only to reinforce it at the end. You know, the point of testing the strength of something, of stress testing, is that you see how strong it really is. So, you know, I wouldn't blow it up forever, but, you know, I'd leave some scorch marks on this particular relationship so that we can learn more about the strength of true love.